we're looking at probably the greatest moment of transition on our electricity network that we've ever seen. And there are so many areas where the solution seems to be electricity, whether that's vehicles, whether that's changing heating. All of those put an extra demand on your supply. And yet we know already that there are areas where businesses have been trying to expand over the last few years and finding it difficult to get the capacity they need locally. But also businesses are facing a real decision now. They're looking at the stick behind them of increasing electricity prices and how do they cope with that, but trying to decide when is the right moment to move into on-site renewable generation, adoption of new technologies, moving to electric vehicles. So they need a lot of support to understand when and how to go on that journey.
The issue of how we can secure a recovery from the pandemic that is both green and fair is probably one of the most pressing that we face as a city region and as a nation.
I think there is an element of bravery that's required, but to be mindful that the audience that you're talking to, particularly amongst smaller business, is that they are very, very heavily weighed down with debt and other issues at the moment. If there's a way that we can find to help navigate a way through that ends up with a green solution, that would be the ideal.
Be really helpful from Electricity Northwest, actually, to understand what their view of consumption looks like in 2030, 2040, 2050, and where the power needs are, whether it's industrial, heat losses, all of that needs to be borne in mind when we decide what to site where.
I think we're one of the few places in the country that has aligned our plans 2038 with our main energy providers, in our case, Electricity Northwest and Cadent. And I think Ofgem will have a job in also allowing them to invest at the pace they need to meet that plan.
Electricity Northwest's future investment plans are significant for our city region. Green growth in Greater Manchester will need to be powered by a reliable and decarbonised electricity network. We welcome Electricity Northwest's pledge to deliver a high level of customer service for people and businesses across our city region. We also appreciate the additional measures to support customers in vulnerable circumstances, including the £250,000 annual fund to remove barriers that prevent the uptake of low-carbon technologies.
If I was to look at any sort of ask of ENW, I would say I know that I deal with ENW and I know that they engage in apprenticeship schemes. I know that they engage in upskilling and training their workforce. But it needs to be ramped up, it needs to be much more broadened out, and it needs to be more intensive.
The County Council entered into a collaboration agreement with Electricity Northwest just over 12 months ago. And since that time, we've been working strategically to progress a number of projects, initially with a focus on the enterprise zone at Samlesbury. But the relationship and opportunity extends right across the county as we look to better place strategic sites and anticipate necessary utility and infrastructure requirements which will be needed.
We're going to have to put in for electric vehicles something quite sensitive into Cumbria. We've got to make sure that any data management, any gas network, any coordinated benefit for a greener Cumbria is done at the same time.
And we know the uptake of low carbon technologies like electric vehicles and heat pumps will increase the demand on our electricity network. Timely investment in the North West's energy infrastructure will ensure we maintain a reliable electricity network which will enable our city region to make the transition to net zero by 2038.